Hello guys and welcome to this small tutorial on how to install Arch Linux on the UTM virtual machine. I'm using a MacBook Air M1, but it's also working on the Pro models and the new M2 chip. So it's the same actually because it's a Apple Silicon architecture, and this is working for every system that is using these new chips. So I've decided to make this video because I've seen a lot of videos and tutorials for Parallels desktop. But as for me, I like UTM a lot more because it's open source, it's free, and the performance is just great. I'm actually impressed by the speed and performance you can get out of it, and that's why I've decided to make a tutorial on how to install it on UTM because I've not seen a lot of it. I don't think I've seen any from Arch Linux. I've seen one on Kali, but anyway, here we are, and here you can see the final result. If you follow every step I take, you will have a system like this. Now, of course, if you don't like it, you can always change the configurations. You can make your own files and configs. You can take from other people. You have complete freedom over here. So but if you follow my steps, you will have a system similar to this, and you can see I've here a tiling window manager, so I can really navigate through the whole system with my key bindings, which I have made Wim-like. So my Wim key bindings are actually everything the same in the whole system. So that's really practical to use it like that, because you're much faster if you are focusing on the keyboard and don't use the mouse a lot. But of course, as you can see, you can also navigate with the mouse, but the point of a tailing window manager is that you are using the keyboard. So as you can see, we can switch here. We can, for example, resize this window. All right, we can make it bigger or smaller. Now, for example, I can run a command here and I can do this here. You can switch, you can make tabs of it. Now I have two tabs over here and I can switch like that. You have really full control, and you will have a great workflow if you get used to it. So you have also various workspaces. As you can see in the top left, I have now two workspaces. Here I have my terminals, here I have browser windows, and as you can see, we have a full working browser. I'm using Firefox. You can use Chrome or whatever you want. We have sound and video over here, like you expect.
Linux, an open source operating system that makes it possible for humans to play with computers. It was created in...
And you can always make more workspaces. We have a runner here. And I run, for example, VS Code, even though I don't use it a lot anymore. You can see, I guess, even VS Code is running up faster here than in Windows or Mac. So, Arch is really a minimal install, and I try to keep it as minimal as possible. I've only downloaded my needed programs that I need for programming and coding, but you can of course download whatever you want additionally. So I guess I've said it all. All right, so I think we'll be starting with the installation now. I will go outside of here. I will close this machine. And as you can see, this is my host machine. I'm on Mac OS. And what you need for the install are basically two things. For one, it's the UTM virtual machine. And this allows you to run virtual operating systems. You know, you can run, for example, Windows XP, you can run Windows 11, Ubuntu, all the system, even these classic operating systems like Mac OS 9. You know, you can basically load everything in there. So go ahead, type in Google UTM and you will come to this website and you can just download it. And the second thing you will need is Arch Boot. Now Arch Boot is the ISO image we will be downloading to actually put the system, the Arch system, on the virtual machine. So you can type in Google Arch Boot and you will come to this page, packagebuild.com, and you can scroll down a little bit and you will find download image files. Click on that and we will need Arch Linux ARM AArch 64. That's exactly what we need because M1 and M2 chips from Apple run ARM systems. So download this ISO and you can also download the checksum if you want to check the signature of the file. So just click on download, and I won't do that because I've already installed it. Here I have my UTM. That's the UTM, and here I have my Arch Boot ISO image. So if you have these two things, we are ready to go, and you can open UTM and click on this plus sign. Now you can choose the first option, virtualization, because the ISO image is based on ARM and the host system is also on a ARM architecture, so we are a lot faster if you choose virtualization instead of emulation. So you can click that and then Linux, and then you can boot from here and choose Arch Boot. The file we've downloaded, it's exactly this file. You can click continue, then you can choose the memory size you wish. 4 GB is great. Then we have the size of the hard disk. I will keep it like that. And then you can click continue. You can give it a special name if you want and click on save. And then we are ready to go. Probably make sure that you have in the CD DVD drive this file you have chosen, and then you can click here and start the system. Now I will make it full screen so you can see it better, and you can click enter. Now if you reach here, you can click enter, and now you have a welcome message. Welcome to the Arch Boot Arch Linux installation program. Click OK. And now we have these options here. First we'll go step by step. Set keyboard and console font. So set key map. Now I have tried it a lot of times, but doesn't seem like it's working. I always get an error. So we will see if it's working or not, but I don't think so. So let's see. All right, as expected, not working, but it's no problem. You don't have to worry. This is very easy to set up after that. So we can choose a console font. I will choose Terminus, but it doesn't really matter. It's just this font you will see in the bootloader and the TTY, but it's not that big of a deal. So the next thing is set up network, and I will choose this interface. So this is mostly just the connections you have on the host system. So if you're a Mac and you have a wireless connection, for example, it will just excuse me, it will just use this connection. So you can choose select. Do you want to use DHCP? Click yes. Are these settings correct? Yes. Profile name, okay. We don't need a proxy server, so yes. Select source, so this is the mirror list for the download of packages. So make sure you are choosing something that is near the place you live in. For example, I live in Europe, so I will choose EU mirror. But if you live, for example, in the US or in Japan, then you will choose something like that. But I will choose EU. Do we want to update the Archboot environment? I won't update that because it will install a lot of packages I won't need, so I don't see a reason to do that, and we will do that manually. It's a lot better. So I will check no, set time and date, select time zone. So I live in Switzerland, and this is always the last one because it's Zurich, that one. And set time and date. Do you want to use UTC for your clock? That's the recommended default, so I will click yes. Your current time and date is, and that is all correct. Make sure it's all right. Yes. NTPD was detected. That's for automatically syncing your clock with the internet connection. So click yes. Okay. Return. And now we can prepare the storage drive. So click OK, click Auto Prepare. Enter the mount point of your UEFI system partition. So the default is boot, so we'll keep it like that. You have chosen to use boot as the UFCC's mount point. The minimum partition size is 260 megabyte and only at OK. Enter the size of your boot partition. So I will choose the default here, and the swap partition also default. OK. Then here I will choose ext4. That's basically the file managing system. ext4 will be used for root and home. OK. Enter the size of your root partition. That's all right. And the rest of the storage will go to the home partition. That's fine. Will be completely erased. Now, as you're in UTM, you don't have to worry about that because you're not actually installing the system on hardware, you know. there won't be anything erased even if it says so. So just click yes. Now we will choose the first option. All right, now we can install packages. So you will see these are only the base packages we need to actually run an operating system. You know, this is for a minimal system, and these are really needed. So we have base, we have Linux, we have so Linux is the kernel. We have E2FS procs, this is for the file system. We have DOS FS tools, Linux firmware, AMD code, netctl, DHCP-CD, WPS supplicant, LVM2, cryptset. Okay, these are all stuff that you will need, but you won't use this stuff. This is just for the system. Well, you will use it, but not directly. These are running mostly on the background, but you also have editors like Nano and VI. So click yes. And now Pacman is running. So this will take a little bit of time. So in the meantime, I will show you something, and that is my GitHub page. So on my GitHub, that's it. You will find on the repositories my dot files, and here you will find all the stuff that I have downloaded, the commands I've run before running the system. For example, adding a personal user account and granting access and stuff like that. You know, we will go through that step by step, but maybe while you're doing this Pacman stuff, you can read a little bit into it. And you know, these, as I said, these are really basic stuff. You know, there really is not much. Of course, here you will have the config files. So also you see I really don't have a lot of programs, but I don't use it that much, you know. I use Arch mainly for programming and coding, so that should be fine. Would you like to copy Pacman's GPG files to install system? If you need your own, okay, click yes. Now configure a system. Now you can select a text editor. Nano is just like a normal editor, and VI is like the best editor there is. So I will choose VI or Vim. So now we are in the configuration part, and here what you have to do is click through it. For example, here, host name, system host name, we'll click into that. So this is the host name of your system, and you know, you will have the US keyboard layout. So make sure you will find how to type in that layout. We will change it later. So I will just choose Arch for the host name, then the vConsole, that's the console output. Now, did you see we have set the key map actually? The one I've chosen at the beginning and it gave an error. It's actually here, so that's fine. Okay. Now, if you chose Vim, you will type ::WQ to save and quit. Then local setting. This is your language, so I will actually change that to DECH. That is my language setting, but you have to Google yours. I think English in the US is like that. EN US, I guess, but I'm not sure actually. But I will choose that one. wquit and local. We did that, yes. Now fs tab. That's all right. We don't need to change anything here. This one is also all right. Okay. Let me check. Yes, that's fine. We don't need to check anything. If you don't write anything, you can just :Q to quit. So kernel modules, we don't need to change anything here. Resolve, yes, that's fine. That's already here. Host. Now here you can type 127.001 tab localhost ::1 localhost 127.011 and your host name. So I've chosen Arch. So :quit local gen. So here you have to uncomment your language. So I can search with a slash and I have DE and that is the one. Did you see it's already uncommented? But I will also uncomment DEN US and it should be here. Okay, so you can uncomment ::wquit, and as you've seen, if you were in here, you can just use that one, EN US .utf8, but I won't, so I'll quit out of here. Okay, and that's what we did. So quit mirror list. So as I said, you can choose a mirror. For example, you have Germany, Denmark, Brazil, and I will choose the EU one. So it's already uncommented. So for example, if you have Australia, you can just uncomment that, but I'm not in Australia, so WQ. Then Pac-Man. So Pac-Man, you can uncomment the color, and beneath it you can type I love candy and it will have a nice animation. If you like stuff like that, if you don't like it, just don't write. And WQ. Root password. So here you will set the password for root and you have to do it. If you don't type anything, you won't be able to log in. So set a password and that's it. We can return to main menu. And now everything is done except a bootloader, and that's small change. That was that you're using UEFI. Do you like to install? Yes. And now I will use grub. You can choose whatever you want, but grub is fine. I actually like GNU stuff, you know. GNU is actually the reason for all of this. So greetings to all GNU people. And yeah. Now it's setting up. Yes, so GNU is actually the operating system itself with the tools you need. Linux actually is just a kernel, so that's why GNU is. You must now review the grub configuration file. Okay, you don't have to change anything. :Q. No, and exit install. And now, did you see? You now have Arch Linux on your system. Now type power off. And what you need to do is you will need to remove this CD. The download, the installer, you don't need anymore. So remove that, and now we can reboot. And I hope everything is working fine. And it looks good. So we are now in the GNU grub settings. So I will choose Arch Linux. And we are here. So Arch login, type root, the password you set, and we are here. So nice. That's actually a huge part. We are already done. Now comes the fun part with configuration and, you know, tweaking the system. So first things first, we will first just update the system, and this you will do with the command pacman -su yu. So click enter. So everything is already up to date. Now we will need the sudo command. So type pacman -s sudo, and now you can download. Nice. Now we have that. Just for fun's sake, there is a package called neofetch. We'll download that. Now we can use neofetch, and you will see the system information. And now you can actually add a personal user, because you don't want to log in every time you log in into the system as root, because that's just not the way it's intended you use the system. So you have to make a user. So you do that by typing user add flag m flag g users flag capital G wheel storage power audio and your username. My name is Arfan, so I will type it like that, double check it, and okay. So we have now a user, and we can set a password. So I will set password, the name of the user Arfan, and my password I would like. So just for fun's sake, I will do it like that. Oh, like that, so you don't see it. but okay. So now you have to do it like that. Editor equals vim vsudo. Oh, if you choose nano, you can use nano. It doesn't matter which one you prefer. I like vim. So editor equals vim vsudo. And now you have to find wheel / wheel, and I will uncomment this one. So I have uncommented, double colon, WQ to write. We are done. And now we can actually switch to the new user with switch user SU and the name like that. Okay. And now if you wish to have the normal directories like downloads, pictures, documents, you know what I mean, you can do sudo pacman flag capital S xdg user tiers. Download that, and now you can do first thing. I will go to the home. So this is my home directory, and if I do ls, nothing shows. If I now do xdg user tiers update, now if I do ls, you can see I have my folders, documents, pictures, downloads, stuff like that. Now we will use an package manager for custom packages, and this will be Yay, I guess it's pronounced, I don't know, but you can download. First you will need to download a package, it's called base devel, and also download git. So you can type enter, click yes. Alright, this will take some seconds, but generally the installations are pretty fast, so don't have to wait too long. Alright, and now we can make in the home directory, this is my working directory, this is the directory I'm in now. You can make dir AUR ls, and you can switch to AUR like that. ls, nothing in there. And now we can make a git clone https AUR.archlinux.org/yay.git. Okay, now we can cd into yay ls, and now we can make package se. Click yes. And by the way, if you have here Y and N, it's for yes and no, and if one is capital, it's the default. So if you click enter, it will choose the one that is capital. In this case, it was yes. That's why I didn't type anything. Okay. Click enter again. That's it. By the way, you can clean the terminal by clicking Ctrl L, or I guess by typing clear. Yes, like you wish. Control L or clear. So now we install some packages. For example, for the sound, we will do sudo pacman slash not slash flag capital S pulse audio alsa utils alsa plugins pavu control, enter, yes, and it will download everything. And by the way, I'm just here following the steps that I've listed over here. So these are exactly the steps I've done right now. We were here. As you can see, you don't have to run the command 3 times. You can just type everything in one line: pulse audio, alsa utils, power control. There is an applet, but I won't install it. If you like that, you can do it. An applet is like, for example, you have here a status bar and you can make the sound like this, more or less. Or you know what, I will install it. It's actually pretty small, so you will see how yay works. Like that. Okay. So you can follow the video, or you can just look into the GitHub of mine and you can follow the steps like you want. So next thing is networking. So we need packages for that. We'll install IW, WPA, supplicant, DHCPCD, and network manager. Right. Actually, DHCPCD is already installed, but we reinstalled, it's no problem. Then also here we have an applet, but or you know what, no problem, I will just install it. Network manager applet. That's a little bigger than the other one, but it's okay. Now we can enable SSH. So sudo systemctl enable SSHD. Then sudo systemctl enable DHCPCD, and sudo systemctl enable network manager. Like that. Now for Bluetooth, we also install some packages: Blues, Utils, Blueman, like that. Okay, then we can enable it. Sudo systemctl enable Bluetooth. Okay, the stuff with pacman we've done. Then we can do the SSD trim. Enable fs trim timer. Okay, and now it's actually, as you've noticed, we just have a terminal. You know, we don't have a desktop, we have no icons, we have basically no graphical user interface. So on Arch, you have to install it yourself. So we will need to do it. So the first thing we need is X or Xorg, and Xorg is the display server. Now you need a display server to basically handle your GUI programs and the complete GUI, the window manager, the display manager, if you have one. So we will need that. Sudo pacman flag s xorg server xorg apps xorg xinit and Xclip is just for the clipboard. Click yes, install. It's actually pretty small. I'm surprised that it's not taking a lot, but that's fine. Now I'm using i3 as my window manager. There are a lot of other Windows Manager. Also, if you don't like tiling Windows Manager, like you saw with the tiles, you can download GNOME, you can have KDE, and you can just Google for what you like, but I really appreciate i3, so I will install that. Sudo pacman flag s i3. Enter. Now here it's written that E3 window manager is deleted because it contradicts i3 gaps, and we want i3 gaps, so that's okay. Click enter. All right, now that was fast. Now we need a compositor for the effects, transparency, rounded edges, stuff like that. Sudo pacman flag s opcom. That's it. Now we need, of course, some fonts. Sudo pacman flag s noto fonts. Noto fonts is really everything you need, basically. Of course, you can have another font if you don't like it, but Noto fonts has everything you like. But I will also install with yay flag s nerd fonts Fira code. This is nerd font. I will explain after a little while what nerd fonts are. I will show you so you will understand better. Click enter. Okay. Then next we will need a shell. Now we have bash. You can check this which shell, and we have here, as you can see, bin bash, but I prefer actually ZSH. So sudo pacman flag as ZSH install. Then I will change it for my personal account that this will be the default shell. So I will type change shell flag s $, parentheses which ZSH. Enter your password. Okay, and now I should have ZSH. Nope. But it should be like that on the reboot, so we will just be going on. We will of course need a terminal. Sudo pacman flag capital S RXVT Unicode. So this terminal is actually the default terminal in i3, and I really like it because I have all the config files in one place. I will show you that with the other Xorg files. So just download that. You can choose any terminal you want. There is also GNOME terminal. There is a Terminator, stuff like that. And the editor, now we have Vim, but I want to have actually NeoVim. I like it a little bit more, and it makes stuff much easier when it's coming to clipboard and plugins and stuff like that. So that's it. And we need a switcher. Sudo pacman flag s dmenu is the default one in i3, but there is a better one called Rofi. We'll install the two. They're very small anyways. So we will need a status bar. Sudo pacman flag S, polybar, okay, and we will need a file manager, sudo pacman as ranger, and ranger is actually a terminal based file manager. I like it a lot more than GUI stuff, but again, you can install whatever you like. There is a lot of GUI file managers. So the next thing, of course, browser Firefox. There is also Chromium, sudo pacman flag capital S Chromium. Not Chrome, but Chromium. You can download it as you like. I like Firefox. So, okay. Then a media player. You'll see. All right. And now some other tools. Again, pacman command. Bet is for showing output in the terminal in a nice way. Basically, it's a better, improved version of cat, so you can download that. FZF is a fuzzy file searcher or whatever, you can search file. FEH is a image viewer. HTOP is like task manager in Windows. Node.js, because some Vim plugins depend on it. npm, yarn, these are packet managers for Node.js. Open, SSH, and we get for downloading stuff or the internet, so click enter. Okay, OpenSSH was installed already, but that's fine. Maybe what was the name of it? PDF viewer. One moment. Zatura. Sudo pacman Zatura. That's a PDF viewer. It's pretty good. So I guess that's all we've needed. Now, of course, what we need to do is, or we will just reboot the system. Sudo reboot. So all the changes will go in effect, hopefully. Arch Linux. We'll log in and log in with your user. So this is the Z shell, and just click 0. That's it. Now if I type which shell, ZSH. That's fine. Okay. Now we actually need, if I do a ls la, we need to do nvim point out.x init rc, and in this file you just type, you can type with I exec i3, escape, double colon, wq. All right, clear the terminal and you can type start x. It should run. Okay, now the first configuration. You have not configured i3 yet. Do you want me to generate a config at home user config i3 config? I think you can't read that because it's very small, but it's basically, it will just generate the config file. So click enter. now you can choose the default modifier, and the default modifier is the key that you will use to switch windows, to resize, to basically do anything related to i3. So I will use the Win key, and Win key on Mac is the command key. So I will click enter, and that's it. Now you have your desktop. It looks pretty, how should I say, pretty plain, you know. It's just a dark screen, but you know it's working because you have something. Oops. By the way, you can, in the UTM, you can just click here so you don't accidentally go outside the window. Just move the dock like this. As you can see here, you can click on that. So now my cursor is only inside the virtual machine. So as you can see, we have here this bar, but not really much, and you don't really know what to do because nothing works. Like, you can click anything and it doesn't do anything basically. But what we will do now is click command on a MacBook. I suppose you're on Mac because you're actually using UTM. So click command enter, and you should see a terminal. And that's the first step, you know, that there is something happening in your computer. It's not dead, you know. So for example, we have a terminal now, and we can click command D, and we will run the D menu. Maybe you remember we have installed it, and it allows you to run applications. So I type Firefox here, click enter, and now Firefox opens, and we should actually have internet out of the box, and here we are. So head over to github.com, and of course we have the wrong key maps, so we will do that in a second. You have the US key map, so you have to do it like that. Okay, this is my GitHub, and you know, the first thing I actually want to do, repositories, dot files. The first thing I want to do, because if I'm scrolling with my mouse, it's the opposite direction. You know, I have to scroll like it's weird, you know, it's just completely the opposite. And also you can see the screen is really bad. You know, you have pixelated fonts and everything is looking pretty ugly at the moment, but don't worry, we will fix all of that. So the first thing I will actually do is make resize font. I will choose that. So basically you are in my dot files, and I will go to urx vt resize font, and I will click here on view raw, and you can select anything with Control A, Control C for copying, and then here is the location. You will create, I think you can't read it, but I type mkdir for make dir point urxvt. Then I will change into that, and I will make another folder ext, and of course that should be inside the urxvt folder. So there you will create, you type nvim. The name of the file is resize font. resize font. And you can now copy. You can either copy with the mouse wheel, click on the mouse wheel, and you see you have copied everything. Or you can do Control Option C on a MacBook. Control Option C. Okay, so we have done that, and I will now do double colon WQ, so it should work. I will exit that, and it should. No, it doesn't work right now because we have to do the xorg file. So in xorg, in the directory, choose x resources, click on raw. Now you can Control A, Control C, Command Enter will open a terminal, and just type nvim .x resources. This should be empty. Now I copy, Control Option V. Maybe you will have here, down here, a warning. Click yes. It's just asking, should it copy all the stuff? And you click yes. Now we have to okay, weird, it's not responding right now. Okay, I will do it one more time. I will actually close this one. It's not closing. Or you know what? Reboot. If something doesn't work, best thing, do a reboot. Look what it's like, what's the problem. So start X. We are inside. So vim x resources. We don't have vim, we need nvim x resources. Like that. You see we have the file over here. We have our settings, WQ, and now very important, you have to write xrdb and then the name of the file, x resources, enter and exit. And now if I open that, did you see you have your new terminal? Now I hope you can see what I type. I'm sorry that it was not possible, but now you can see what I type. Let's try new fetch. Did you see? All right, now we have also, did you notice we have a nicer color? So click Command D, we open Firefox again, and don't worry right now about the size, we will fix that. I will close that with Command Shift Q. Look that your cursor is inside the okay. All right, then we will have to do it like that. I'm sorry, in the beginning it's always a little bit tricky to get everything done, but Command 2, Command D, Firefox, now we have it on one side. And here is my GitHub. I will zoom out a little bit. that. All right, so we have now actually to fix the screen. And the screen, you know, you're on a MacBook and you use a Retina display, so you have to fix the screen. Click here, the monitor, click on raw. I've done that. Copy. Now command 1 to go to the workspace number 1, and here inside that you go to cd root etc x11 xorg conf, and now pwd. Now you see we are in this folder, and nvim, and it was command 2, the file name 10 monitor conf, like that, 10 monitor conf, and just copy that stuff inside of here, wq, and of course you will need to have root privileges, so sudo exclamation mark. Now it should work. I hope it does. No, yes, it did work. Okay, command 2. Now to fix the scrolling stuff, you need this file, lib input conf. So raw, can copy that and create 40 lib input.conf. Now you copy that. Forgot root. Sudo, like that, wq. Now we have these two files. These are important for the screen settings. All right, cd. Now we are back in the home directory, and now actually what we need to do is the xinit, and this is basically the file that gets loaded when you enter the xorg server. Basically when you move out of the terminal at the beginning after booting and run a graphical user interface. So nvim.xinit, and we have already created it. That's what we typed, but you can just override that and do that. So what this basically does is when you log in at the beginning, it automatically starts the xorg server. So that's it, and it will also parse these files from x resources. That's where we defined this stuff. Okay, now xinit, x resources, we did that. Now very important, that's the next step, i3 gaps, and that's very important. Over here, config, you have to grab that one. So copy everything, Control A, Control C, Command 1 to go back to the first workspace, and you have to create, make dir cd config, make dir i3. It's actually Yes, we have actually already done one, but you can delete anything over here and just copy that, and this is actually what you see right now, the window manager. So this sets the mod key, this is the command key, the gaps between the windows, we hide the title bar. The title bar is this here, you don't need that actually, so we hide it. The font for the stuff, we have here the colors, and as I said, I've made this colors according to Everforest. So as you can see in the terminal right now, we are using the color actually, but you will see it better after that. Here you will see some key bindings. Mod return starts the new terminal. Return is enter, so command enter you will have in your terminal like that. And mode quit should quit out, but it's not working right now, so type exit. So kill focus terminal, mod Q, that's command Q. But I will show you after we have done that. So type WQ, and now we should be able to reload. Command Shift R. Now did you see it's actually better, but I guess we have to restart. So type reboot. Right. Before I forget, go outside of the VI, and you know what? We will just close it down completely. You have to change the setting over here. So on your virtual machine, right click, edit, and you will see display, upscaling, linear, and here, that's very important, retina modus. So save that. We will reboot, and it should actually look a lot better now, but we will see. Okay, I will log in and start X. As you can see, the graphics, they are much sharper, and I will try to open a terminal. Did you see? Now we have an open terminal here. I will open a never forget to cage your cursor like that, so the commands actually work, you know, is equivalent to the host machine. So command W's should start a new browser, and here you have it. So as you can see, now our font is pretty sharp. You can see everything looks good, but of course we are not done. Now actually we have defined the i3, so it should work if we now download this image over here. We should have a wallpaper. So save graphic, downloads, save, and it should work out of the box actually. I will close that. Command Shift R will reload, and as you can see, that's our wallpaper, and we start like that. Actually weird that there is did you see that? It's like a animation going on, but we didn't install anything. We did install. we did install. Right, we have Qemu installed, so yes, that's the default, I guess. But we will change that, of course. But as you can see, now the resolution and everything looks sharp and nice. That's a good step. Now, actually, I want... Can we change the size here? Not yet. Okay. I now want to change the shell a little bit so it's easier. Sorry, it's easier to work. So Command W and go to my GitHub .files. And this one is ZSH, and here you have the ZSH RC raw, and you can Control A, Control C for copying. And I guess we don't have it now. We have it right here. So nvim point z as hrc, and we will just paste everything we have over here. Now we will have some errors because we did not install everything, but let's see. Right, now we have a better shell. Now the resize did not work because I want you to see what's going on. It's not there. Ah, okay. Make sure, I will show you right now, make sure that the resize font file you have downloaded is actually in the ext folder. It's very important. So now it should work. Did you see? Now I can make my font size bigger and smaller in the terminal. So I made that so you can read. And I made a mistake, and it's also good that I make mistakes so you can see why something might not work. This tool that we can resize here is actually in the urxvt folder. So if we head to that and open, you have another ext directory. You can change into that, and this has to be in this directory, resize font. If I do a bet on that, you can see that's the file we've copied. And my mistake was, it was one file or one folder above, you know, it doesn't have to be in here, but in this folder. That's inside this folder. I hope this makes little sense. All right, but as you can see, it's getting a lot better. So we can actually now config Qemu. And Qemu is the compositor that's responsible for the effects, for the graphics and stuff like that. So just grab everything here. cd.config and make dir Qemu, cd into Qemu folder, ls, and nvim. Oh no, you just can type vim, I guess, and the file name is Qemu.conf. You can just paste anything in there. Now we have to reload, Command Shift R, and I guess that didn't work because we have to reboot, but I wish to do other stuff before we reboot once again. So what do we need also? Right, that we can do later. I guess Vim is very important on NeoVim. You know, now it's not really looking that nice. You know, you can work with it, but for example, if I open these files, you know, it's really not that great of a user experience. So we will make a config cd.config ls, and we will make dir and vim cd into that, like that. And now you can grab my vim, basically my vim config file. So you can vim init.vim, like that, wq. And now, very important, we need to install vim plug. Vim plug is actually a plugin manager, so you can download it for here, NeoVim Unix Linux. So we do it like that, grab that, copy, that's it. Now we should go inside, and you see it's very ugly, but just type plug install, and you will see like magic, everything is getting nice and clean, you know. And something I guess didn't work quite right. No, everything is fine. Okay, we can quit. And now if I enter Vim, did you see it's like really, if I just go down a little bit with the font size, it's really nice to look at. You know, you have your settings here, you have your not free stuff over there, you have your folders and stuff, you have like a real IED, you can edit code over here, you know, you have fonts, yeah, stuff like that, you know, you get the idea. And by the way, that's why we needed the nerd font, because you see we have here symbols, and if you don't have this installed, you won't see it. So make sure you install this font in the beginning, Fira code or Fira code. Don't know how it's pronounced, but be sure that you have this installed. So quit. I will do that a little bigger, like that. Okay, now what else? Yeah, we'll need the status bar, so that's called polybar, and that's also in config. So we are here we always see the directory we're currently in, or you type pwd, and now we make dir polybar cd polybar, and you basically vim config ini, just grab that. Did you see I've just set everything up for you? So that's it, like that, and polybar and launch, and this will make sure that polybar is launched every time you start up the system. So vim launch .sh, copy that, now wq, and after a little while, now we should reload, and we don't see it, we need to restart, I guess. And don't forget to make launch executable with sudo changemod +x launch. Now you see it's executable. It has another color, and here you see the file permissions. So that's important. And what else do we need? The dot files. Actually, it's not that much. If we now you see we have already the other switcher. I don't know how it's called, but I call it switcher because you can switch apps. But the theme is not the right theme, so that's called Rofi. And as you see, I have this one. So we go into the .config file, make dir Rofi, say dir Rofi, vim config .razi, and click on that. And now you can just grab that like this, and you have to go into, I will save this. Now I click Command V. I will learn you a little bit about the keys right now. Command V says that the next window is not opened in this direction, but in this direction. So if I click Command Enter for terminal, we will enter this. And by the way, don't worry about these error messages. We will fix that. Right. So we need to go into this directory. So I will actually do it like that. CD local share Rofi, and there is no Rofi here. So make dir p Rofi themes, and now cd Rofi ls cd themes like that. And now we do vim squared ever forest.razi, and this is a file I've actually copied from LRTech, so thank you very much for this great work. I will copy it, paste it like that. So now if we Command Shift R for reloading, did you see the status bar now appeared with the right design? And also we should have, did you see, we have the right design over here. Now Firefox annoys me a little bit because it's so bright, so I will do like this, dark. And by the way, there is a great Firefox theme. You can, now I give you another tip. You want to switch this Firefox to another desktop, so you click Command Shift 2. Now Firefox is in the second workspace. You can click Command 2 or click with the mouse, and now did you see Firefox is in the second workspace? That's just a tip. So I will just download this theme. I really like that one. That's it, like that. Right. So okay. Now if I want to move it back, Command Shift 1. Firefox is in the first workspace, and now everything looks a little strange, but no problem. We can just do it like that. Okay. What else is there? We need dot files. Rofi, we did Rofi, we did Polybar, I guess. Yeah, we did polybar. Let me see. I can quit out of here. CD. No, we need to go back. CD config. Deconf. That's another stuff. I3 and we new fetch. Right, polybar we did. Become Rofi. Works. We did. Alright, I guess we have done most of it. So bad, it's not really that important. I will exit out. As you have seen, we have here error messages, and that's because we have not downloaded these plugins for ZSH. So we will do that. The first one is ZSH auto suggestions. Go here, and it's pretty easy, you know. Install, go down, and you just copy that and paste. And now if I exit and open again, we have only one, and we should have auto suggestions. So if I do that, and did you see now, if I run a command and I type the same, we have this suggestion. So you just have to click the right arrow button like that, and you have the command again. So that's great. All right. And the second one, excuse me, I can't talk anymore. The second one is ZSH syntax highlighting, like that. And this one is over install. Your ZSH, we just need the first one, like this. Copy, paste, and we will clone that into ZSH like that. No, just go to ZSH and copy in here. ls. Alright, now if I quit and open, command enter, you see we don't have any error, and we also have now syntax highlighting. So if I type command doesn't exist, it's red, you know. But if I type, for example, win, did you see it's green? So this command exists. Or if I type something between brackets, it has a syntax, you know. It's just gives it a little touch. I think you like it, but you don't have to download it. And yeah, so I guess we have done most of the things we need. So maybe Ranger is here, but it's pretty plain. So Ranger, first thing we need Ranger icons, and the first one, Ranger dev icons, and all you need to do is do that and copy. That's it. And Ranger, I have a config file. To be honest, I didn't change much. I have just copied the normal default config, but you know, it's not Ranger. We already have, yeah, we have the plugins. Okay, cd config Ranger, and we do vim rc conf and just copy that on. You know, it's basically the default settings. I've done this, dev icons, and what did I set up? Ah, yeah, the relative line numbers. So if you have, for example, let's change this to a second window. If you have this, you know, here is the relative line number. So if I want to switch to music, you know, you can do it with the mouse, but if you prefer the keyboard, there are also Vim key bindings on here. So relative line numbers right here. So for example, you're here, you want to reach here. You can type 15J, right? So it's exactly the Vim bindings. I know the ones familiar with Vim, they immediately like that, and you know, it's just great. You can really see the stuff over here. We do a reboot now because I want to see if the compositor is working as it should. Arch Linux. I log in. Did you see when we log in, we start automatically with the desktop. We don't have to type start X anymore. And let's see. And as you can see, we have transparency. We have curved edges. Yeah, it's actually pretty good right now. And as you can see, I can change the windows like that. I can resize, make this like that. I can resize like that. You know, it's basically just the Vim bindings. And you know, the best way to learn actually the bindings is to go inside the config files, you know. So for example, i3 config, and here you have the config files, right? And here you see everything. Every key binding is in here that I have set, but of course you can change it if you don't like it. For example, mod V opens a web browser, V for web. So if I type command W, why did I say V? W, of course. Mod W will open a web browser. So you're back in the web browser like you were before. And for example, full screen mode, you can toggle with command F. That's here. Split, that is command V, and if I open a new terminal, it opens here. No. So it's basically you have all the Vim bindings over here, and let me change that here. And yeah, you have everything over here. You can change the colors, you can change the appearance, also the wallpaper if you want to change it. Search here, wallpaper, and you can just change the path, you know. That's polybar setup, that it will start automatically. For example, here the volume, you can just scroll and make it louder. And yeah, let's see if sound actually works. So YouTube, let's see, it works. Did you see? And
Vim. a text editor for writing code where you navigate around the
Also
screen with
full
a
screen
keyboard
mode.
instead of a mouse. It's based on the
Everything
original
works
Unix
fine.
text editor
Super.
VI, which came about in 1976. Then VI improved.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's basically it. So we have really not that much. Ranger, I hope it's working fine. I made in Vim /HRC an alias. So instead of typing Ranger every time, you just type RR. Alright, so you type RR and you will open Ranger. And also what this does is that if you go inside Ranger and you go to a directory and you quit off Ranger, you will stay in the shell in the same directory. You know, the shell also changes with Ranger. So I will show you what I mean. Also, by the way, if you type VI or Vim, it will automatically open NeoVim. That's what I did here. And you know, case sensitivity, so that I will show you. For example, if I have CD etc and I type x11 or x1, now there is a folder x11 but the x is big. Now if I type tab, it automatically corrects that. So that's like that. Now RR, and as you can see, it seems to work good. Just I guess Ranger copy config rifle. Should actually have a, yeah, it's actually running, but it should actually have a preview, but I will fix that in my config files and upload it on GitHub, and you will have the new config files where I fixed that problem. So I guess we are finished. Like it actually seems like we have done everything. So if I quit and I do neofetch and I do here Ranger and I do here pfetch. Oh, we didn't install pfetch, so yes, pfetch. All right, so let's see pfetch first. Pfetch like that. We can resize pfetch like that. htop, I think we've downloaded. Yeah, right. Did you see? Like it's exactly as in my setup. Everything looks good so far. And yeah, I think that's it basically. We have done an Arch Linux install and the configuration, and everything seems like it works. So yeah, what I wanted to show you here in Ranger, I will do that in a separate file so you can see it better. For example, I'm now going inside downloads, right? And I will quit out of Ranger by typing Q. I'm in the downloads folder. You see, I was in the home directory and now I'm in the downloads folder. So if you type Ranger, it will actually go with that videos. Did you see, like it changes the shell automatically, and as you can see, we can edit everything in Vim. I go into Vim, like you can see here, X resources, and we can enter directly. So I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and I will soon, I guess, make a Rust course, and if you like, I would love that you will participate in it, and see you the next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.